Namaste and welcome to class. And today we are sitting with Matthew Cosgrove for continuation of our series on relationships. And thank you again for sitting with your undivided attention. Welcome, Matthew.
Thank you.
And today we're going to talk about the Iron Man.
So in order to understand the Iron Man, which is the second metal that can be likened to the character of the man, you should have understood the copper man, because iron is a very different metal. You know, it comes like out of stone. You know, and the stone is full of iron ore, and they crush it up and they heat it, and then iron is poured into a mold when it's red hot. You know, you can like a cast iron skillet, say it's poured into that mold, and it gets very hot, and it stays very hot for a long time. Whereas the copper gets very hot, but then it cools down right away. It has no retention of heat, you know. It has no sovereignty in a way. So iron is that it's that metal. It's very hard. It's very rigid. You can totally depend on the Iron Man. He's very good at manifesting. He's, for a woman who's graduated from the Copper Man, to find an Iron Man, it's like, oh my God, I found God. You know, he's dependable. He can manifest. He takes care of me. You know, and his word means something. And he's a great provider. You know. But there's always a price to pay.
It's always a price to pay.
So the Iron Man is it's great for certain women that need some kind of support, perhaps because of their background, you know, or a relationship with an Iron Man can work. As long as you don't want to change.
What I'm understanding is that Iron Man loves rules.
Yeah.
Right? And Iron Man have that fixed ideas, how the world should work.
It's very, everything is black and white.
Yeah,
for the Iron Man.
It's how the rules make everything easy. So it's not only following rules in the external, like an agreement with certain social rules and so on, but also have internal rules of how the woman should be. Usually the woman have to be in a position of more servitude, where it's complementing some kind of service or some kind of
if she has to play by his rules.
And that's something that in traditional marriages, like in traditional cultures, we often see that, where the woman take a role of the mother and the wife, and is being supplied and is part of the family image, and that's how it should be. It's a traditional thing, but it's not evolving into anything. So it's an unstable relationship if the Iron Man doesn't have cruel rules, oppressive rules, if he's not a tyrant, because in that rules is a degree of of firmness. And if it's too firm, then it's too much control, and the woman tend to diminish itself.
Yeah. So the iron, if you look at cast iron, it's completely inflexible. It's poured into a mold. It's a certain thing. It will always be that thing. That's why it's so dependable. Like even an iron pot, for example, you bring it outside from the freezing, you put it on the stove, it'll crack. It can't adapt. Everything is a certain way. It's very, very slow to change it. It keeps its heat a long time, or it keeps cold a long time. And so it is a certain way. Things are black and white. And you need to play by his rules, or...
And what is the tantrum of the Iron Man?
You didn't play by my rules.
If I don't play, therefore
you don't belong in my kingdom.
Yeah, or
I can't control you, therefore you don't belong in my kingdom. That I've created, and look at me, look what I've done, and you should be honoring me.
And also the imposition of rules, and this is the way it should be, and if you don't obey my rules, then I'll punish you.
And the punishment, it can be passive-aggressive too, but it's often more direct with the Iron Man.
Or indifference, coldness.
Like a direct anger, rather than a passive anger. And he'll just cut off communication.
It's
because you didn't play my rules, therefore you're cut. You're out of my life.
Yeah, start depriving.
I have no room for you in my life.
Yeah, start depriving the emotional part. So the demonstration of tenderness, or the demonstration of intimacy, even sexual, start to diminish, and the woman start like kind of begging for that emotional contact, and no, it's not being given because you are not doing what he wants. And also is if two iron relationships, like if the woman is too stiff and too rigid as well, between the two is battle, is a total who is gonna win. You are in a battle of territory, and who is the one that carry the power. So those are very difficult relationships, and usually it's the children that don't know what them are the rules, right? So if it's the male who is having the rules, maybe the children are clear on that. But if the woman is too submissive and don't give that feminine part, the children don't have the stability or the influx of both information.
Yeah, so the Iron Man reflects an internal position of rigidity, control, and inside of everyone there's the Iron Man.
It's a resistance.
It's the Iron Woman, as we've seen. It's control. Like we are controlling our life, every aspect of our life. We're holding it. And part of us refuses change, and we stubbornly hold on it. It's when I came up with that saying, it's my own absolute control that I think I can't control, which is controlling me. That's the essence of Iron Man, internally, and to hold on to whatever it is, a belief system. Hold on to dear life, change is an existential threat to that part which is identified with that control. The controller. The controller is the Iron Man, or the Iron Man.
And in order to control, I mean, it's yes, all those rules, you have to go into the head. You have to go into opinions, you have to go into theories, you need to go into a certain fear. Is if I change them, I will be eliminated, annihilated, I cannot change. And that's precisely what is controlling the Iron Man. Because the Iron Man, when he sees that what is controlling him, his own rule is controlling him, it dies very quickly. So he feels defeated, he feels limited, and he feels angry, and more bitterness, and more control, and more resistance. And when the woman is there, you need to have an assessment. If it's too late, walk out, and walk with the more grace possible, because this man, he will attack you. He will try to destroy you.
Yeah, the Iron Man will seek revenge.
He will seek revenge. Yeah.
Not in a passive way, but in an external way.
Yeah, yeah.
Legally, or some type of aggression.
Yeah.
To get even.
Yeah.
How dare you destroy my kingdom?
My perfection. How dare you dare my...
How dare you?
Yeah.
You know.
Destroy my perfection. So how to deal with an Iron Man? What is your suggestion?
Well, I certainly know some. How to deal with them? It's a difficult question. I know how you would deal with them. How do I deal with them? They need to be confronted, but then you risk losing them, but that has to be okay. They will reject you, but at least you are something. Then you are representing something for them in their psyche, you know. There might be an element of truth, you know, so you hold to the truth of what you see. And
there is something that women don't realize, and is that we as women, we are the creators. We give birth to all man, any type. And when the awareness that our awareness give birth to a possibility of change. So with the Iron Man, you have 3 possibilities. The number 1 is to recognize that you are in agreement with certain rules, to his rules, because you want to learn to follow. You want to learn to be contained by rules. Not only by a man, but to have certain containment. If you are too ungrounded and so on, the Iron Man will supply certain containment for you. And if that is your lesson, wonderful. If you are aware that, okay, this is what is my responsibility of accepting the rules. But if you grow, or not if, but when you grow out of his rules, be prepared for the second part. And is that the negotiation of rules. And in here we need to see the type of rules. There are some fundamental rules that the Iron Man won't change. And there are other rules that it will be okay and it will negotiate and so on. And there are other rules that he won't even consider to be part of his kingdom. So if you are addressing the fundamental rules, which should be change, growth, you are the one that need to take care of you. You are the one that need to promote that change within you with no compromise of what he thinks or what he say. You take care of yourself, you grow yourself, you evolve yourself, and through that he may oppose it. He say, oh, you're doing yoga, this is not good, or whatever. You will have the opinions, but you should not weaken your process of growth, because if you do, you are not giving the actual chance to evolve. And the third part is be ready to recognize when things are not matching anymore with the Iron Man, when you have overgrown the rules and that you want a different kinds of living, a more flowing, more organic, more feminine, and that you are containing yourself, that you are able to supply to yourself order, management, groundness, creativity. All that, it goes against the Iron Man. But you need to know in what level you are in your relationship. I'm not saying that all relationships should be finishing, because just, let's say, the first part can take 1 or 2 lifetimes to be with an Iron Man. But it comes where this process of moving from the strict rules happens, and when you have grown out of it, it will be a conflict. It's not going to be suitable anymore, because that resistance, that negativity, that pull down is impeding your expansion. So take responsibility for your own growth, follow what you know and inspire the man, rather than confront the man. And if the man is not accepting inspiration, but instead of opposing them, it's just not going anywhere. You will eventually feel that it's just crushing. It's not exchange of intimacy. It's not exchange of life.
What would be the internal position of a woman, of the woman that attracts an Iron Man into their life? Is she submissive? Is she collapsed? Is she, do you understand?
Well, it will be a woman, as you say, that needs certain containment, and that it may need that support and stability, but it may not be forever. If the woman grow, it's fine. If it's just being there and okay, you take care of me, you supply, you do all that, them is the Iron Man who will resent, and the woman will feel more victim. It will play the victim and say, oh, you need to take care of me because I am sick, or I am not capable of working, or so. The more you give you power, the Iron Man will feel more empowered, because it have your power, it have your initiatives, it have that. So the woman have to be super careful of not submitting to that control, to that oppression, and take responsibility. Once the woman take responsibility, then it won't need the Iron Man, because it's supplying her own rules, her own valor and values and dynamics. So then the Iron Man will feel that it's losing control. But it's important for the woman, not only with the man, but with the child, because we see that the Iron Man start in childhood when the mother.
There's a saying behind every great man there's an even greater woman, but the opposite can also be said, you know.
Yeah.
Like behind the copper man is a woman who submitted to him, similar with the iron man. There's a mother who submitted to the iron man's tantrum.
Yeah, those little child that say, if you don't give me that, and the woman just give it. So it start being an agreement that, okay, you can have your tantrum and you can have everything you want, and the man start creating his internal rules.
Yeah, so that you could say that there's a woman that created.
Absolutely, we create the man. That's my whole point. We create the man.
And it's because if the woman, or if anyone doesn't understand who they are, in terms of, am I pure awareness, or am I this reactive ego? You know, and if you're in the reactive ego yourself, you can't identify it in a child. You can't properly raise a child.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's when the mother feels it. Really, the Iron Man is that tyrant and victim relationship. So sometimes the mother feels victim of being a mother. It feels that cannot handle it, and then it becomes an iron woman itself. It becomes with its own rules. So as a homework, I think I would like for you to take notes and see, so what is your fundamental rules? What is that moves you, right? What is something in your life that cannot change? What is the fundamental value? Like for me, for example, is my love for my spirit, to learn the infinite part of me and dwelling in that. Anybody that challenge that is not going to be in my kingdom in terms of opposing that or impeding that. Is no negotiation. So you have to put your internal rules, what is the most important thing for you, and what you can negotiate, what you can be flexible. And I can be flexible, and if the man say, let's eat this, let's go to this place, that adaptation should not become mutation. And when you are adapting, it's fine. But if you are adapting your fundamental principles, you are betraying, and the path is you're going to get ill. You're going to get depressed. You're going to be with no life force. You're going to just submit to life force, to the rules, to a system internally in the man and a system externally, socially. Thank you, Matthew, so much.
Thank you
For sitting with us. But we do have another. Stay tuned.
Yeah. You're probably wondering.
Yeah.
What the third metal is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gold, or maybe it's silver, maybe it's none of those things. You have to tune into the next
Yes,
class.
So in our next series, then we will cover this fascinating aspect of our human psychology and our human desire to connect and be in relationships. Namaste.